Anita, you can turn on your video now. I'm sure that we're all excited to see you.
Great.
Okay, we're excited to have you here today. So I'm just gonna give a quick introduction about myself and about you as well. Okay, so my name is Faith Moyosore Agbola, but obviously I also go by the name AFM Stories, and it's just because of my passion to make success stories out of young people. I share scholarship tips, inspiration, and career tips on my YouTube channel, AFM Stories, and on some of my social media platforms as well, AFM Stories. So I've interviewed quite a number of scholars, program officers, and this is one of such sessions where we bring people that have experience in different fields and then we interview them about their journeys and they give advice. So today we have Anita, who is an international student recruitment officer. She has a vast experience in helping students to, get their study abroad dreams come true in terms of admissions, partial scholarships, tuition fee waivers, and she also got one as well. So it's not just in helping people; she also experienced it. And I feel like, anyways, let me not say your journey for you. But yeah, she does have a wide experience, and I feel like we'll just ask her. I have a couple of questions that I'm going to ask her based on some of the things people have sent, but also some of the things that are related to this session. So today's session really is about alternative funding pathways. So I know how popular fully funded scholarships are. I know the journey is to try to get one. I know the rejection, the pain, and I know how sometimes it could be intimidating, or sometimes people have applied several times and they're just tired and they just want an alternative. So that's one of the reasons why today's session was really important, in such that for people that are just tired of fully funded scholarships, because not everybody's going to get a fully funded scholarship at the time they want to get it. Some people it's going to take longer, some people it might be more complicated, but some people self-funding might be a better option, tuition fee waiver might be a better option. Some people have some level of funds, but they want a different alternative. So today is just about talking about what are the alternatives to fully funded scholarships. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, Anita, is tell us about yourself. I'm sure we're all dying to know all about you, what you do, and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Oduyi Anita. I'm an international student recruitment manager, and I've been working in student recruitment for about 4 years. And actually, I got into student recruitment through my experience as well. I was fresh out of school. I needed, to further my education at the time, and I applied for lots of scholarships and schools as well. And there was not so much at the time, I would say, and that's how I got into it, and from there I got my first job and I started working as an higher education advisor at the time, and I moved on in 2017 to do my master's in globalization, business and sustainable development. It's quite a mouthful. I think now I'm just tired of having to say it over and over again. And after that, I came back to Nigeria in 2019 and started working at Edmond Consulting, and as their student recruitment manager. And yeah, that's the journey so far.
Oh, that's really inspiring. So I'm sure there are people here that are curious about how you actually got your own tuition fee waivers to fund your studies and how your experience was, in that process, because obviously we're going to be talking about how people can do it, but how was the journey for you getting a tuition fee waiver? What was going through your mind? How was the experience like, and what do you feel about it? Like, do you think it's something great that people should consider?
Okay, so in my case, it wasn't really a tuition fee waiver, and that's the thing. Like, there are numerous funding available to international students from Nigeria that I think that most times are not even like maximized, or people don't know about. Like, there are some that they're literally not advertised, that by the school or by anybody. Like, there's a lot. Even the website that they don't post so much. So at the time, like I said, I'd applied to over 16 schools. 16 was the number that I knew. I probably did more. And I got lots of offers, but then when it comes to scholarships, you get rejected a lot. And so at the time, I just said, oh, okay. So what was available? I had some funding. I just thought, okay, I could sponsor part of it. So let's see what was available. So schools usually will offer you, and that's the thing, right? When you there'll be like discounts because I was applying to the UK at the time. And I would like to point out that most of my experience and even my work experience have been largely around the UK, and that's where my expertise is. Because as a consultant, I like to be focused, and and just because I'm starting out, I want to know exactly where I'm going and where my strength is. So I think that I must point out. So as a go on, yeah, so I did so then I applied to a few schools. I mean, I got a few calls like, oh, okay, will you be taking on the offer? And if the scholarship is like 5,000 or 2,000, I'm like, oh, that's too much, and I get more. And they can be like, oh, we currently don't have that, or you don't pay, or whatever. And so I applied to the University of East Anglia at the time, and then I met an agent online, an agency online. At the time it was SI UK, but now they've changed. And then we started talking, and they said, oh, you have a first class, you currently have a school, and what is an automatic scholarship for you if you're a first class student. But it was in the School of International Development, and thankfully what I wanted to do was in the School of International Development. I don't think I was looking at globalization at the time, but definitely it was a course that I chose as my second option. And they were offering to give I think it was over 50% at the time for first class students. And I was shocked because most of the applications are done, they'll have to like long experience, what have you done, you have to I mean it's like applying for a job as well. As like when you're doing your CV and stuff, you just have so much to. And at the time I was fresh out of the university, I didn't know so much. I mean, the experience I had was probably like 6 months, maybe 3 months of internship here and there, and then what I was currently doing at the time. So I didn't know so much. I didn't know about the option of waiting or something, and I took it. And now one thing about the school, however, was the option that they had, flexible payment. And as we go on, it's very important to know that some of us or some people can actually afford to do that. So it is looking for your options. I think the mistake that we make as applicants is that maybe your friend has applied for a fully funded and maybe got it, and you're thinking, I'm stuck on that. But you can probably afford some part of it, and you want to do exactly the same thing that the other person has. I mean, if we bring on this panel now and we say, oh, let's bring 5 people who got fully funded scholarships, they're going to have different experiences, and that tells you how much diversity and how much is so almost tailored to you, because your experiences are quite different, right? So for me, I took it and then I planned out. So I did a financial planning thing. I did try to get other, funding at the time. My story is very complicated, and it became like I'm a success story because I didn't even think I was able to afford that. I mean, we're talking at the time £8,000, and I was fresh out of university. I mean, that much was I getting paid? Like, it's not like I had all the money exactly. But I was able to get money from family and friends, and I had people, back in the UK that was thinking, okay, so if I decide to stay here, so this is what I would do, and that. And then I think as we go on, because I don't want to give all the information now, we're going to talk about working while you're studying. So how much can that really get you? How far can that really get you? And other opportunities that you're not even getting as an international student. Because I think most times as an international student, you just go to the UK and want to study, and that's it. No, that's not it. There's just so much that you can do
more. And the thing is, and that's why I feel like this session is very important, because many people don't understand that you have to really think about it. For a lot of scholarships, you have to come back to Nigeria. Like, it is compulsory.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm coming back to Nigeria. I want to come back to Nigeria, but the thing is, what is your future goal? Where do you want to be? Do you get? So, but then if you think about most alternative options for like self-funding, tuition fee waivers, university opportunities, some of the things that she's going to be talking about today, give you the opportunity to stay back, to pursue further visa opportunities. There's even a post 2 years. Anyways, let me not talk too much, but you just need to know, like, do you get which one? Yes. What is your end goal? What is your future goal? You understand? What do you want out of your life? So I think now, because I saw a lot of questions, people were like, "Oh, okay, what is tuition fee waivers? What is discount? What exactly does it mean?" And then somebody was asking, "Would I need to pay back?" So I feel like it's just important for you to just shed light on what exactly tuition fee
So
waivers.
tuition fee waiver, unlike scholarship, is I'd say it's almost like a trade by barter thing. So you work for, or not really a trade by barter. So I'm thinking about graduate assistance now. So tuition waiver is almost like taking out your tuition and saying, okay, so we're going to reduce your tuition, or we're going to take out your tuition because of this. I mean, usually with scholarship is because of your good grades, your experience, or da 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 da. But with tuition fee waiver, it can be need based. It can be
Country.
most times in the US is need based. I'm not going to lie, and even in the UK sometimes is all that, and maybe in that particular faculty or something they have funding, so they are taking out, so it's a reduction of your, they are giving you, there's a reason why you don't have to pay tuition. Yeah, so it's just tuition and you can't use it for something else. So if it's a tuition discount, you can't say, oh okay, can I use it for my living expenses or something, so my accommodation. So it's mainly just your tuition fees and nothing else. So your books, your accommodation, your other living expenses is definitely on you. Yeah. So I mean, in plain terms, not to go to the, it's just a tuition reduction. Or yeah.
Okay, so like what values are they and how do people get them? I'm sure that the next question people will ask is, okay, so how do we get them? Like how much are they? How do we find them?
Yeah, so I'll not be using like tuition waivers alone, because I feel like we must understand that in various countries as well, the languages, the language that they use in publicizing this information is quite different. For to the UK, most times not use tuition waivers. In the US, definitely, and sometimes in Canada. Now for UK, I would say that what you find will be partial scholarships or full tuition reduction or 100% tuition scholarship. That's usually the language. Now, so what that means is that you're not going to pay, you're either going to pay 50% of it or you pay 30%, depending on what the school is offering. Now, how do you find them? With these scholarships, it's very school based. I'm not even going to lie or say this thing. And as we go on, I want you to understand that one thing that is very, very important, if you're so passionate, because for me, even as an expert, when I'm working with a student, if you're not as interested as I am, I mean, I shouldn't even be more interested than you are. You need to do that research. It's lots of work. I mean, even from your experience, you know that lots of long nights of research. You didn't just sit down and say, yes, it's going to be Chebney. You've checked for lots of other scholarships that you probably applied for as well. So let me just say, I'm that person that is very big on research. I might not give you a long list and will tell you where you can get it from, because the truth is, look at it, you cannot do that work. How do you want to get the scholarship? How do you even want to show the school that you're going to make good use of the money that you're giving out? Okay, so there are school scholarships. So each school, I mean, I can say that about 90% of all the schools in these countries, especially in the UK, have some type of scholarships. So is it that they are giving you a discount for being Nigerian, or you're getting a discount for doing a course? Now, I'll give you an example. So currently, I was trying to get an admission for a psychology student. And then I found out that a school was offering 100% scholarship for just studying, and they listed like 3 psychology courses that you could do, and they will give you money if you apply just before so date. Interestingly, I mean, I'm not a psychology student. Yeah. I wasn't like really like just for studying, and if it's I think it was in developmental psychology, social and applied psychology. I mean, the student didn't get it because they wanted someone who had a first degree in psychology. So meaning that if you had the first degree in psychology and you did the right thing, it was just a free ride. And that's the thing. So schools will always have discounts. I mean, most times the discounts are not a lot. I mean, if it's for the Nigerian discount, so you could have 4,000, you could have 2,000, and also you your grades will at some point matter. So they could say, oh, if it's a strong 2-1, you get 5,000. If it's not so strong, you get 4,000 and that. But that's very necessary, because for me, I believe.
You mentioned that because people are like, because I'm sure that people will be thinking, oh, so if I don't have first class, I can't get the tuition fee waivers.
You certainly can. I mean, even people who have two can, and I think that your experience matters. Let's be honest. You have to make up for that grade somehow, and even for first class students. I mean, for some of us were first class students, and we had to still do the work and get a fully funded scholarship. So it's not usually like it puts your step, forward, but you still need to do the work either way. And so I've mentioned schools, I've mentioned faculties.
So they need to check faculties, they need to check schools. Okay.
Yes. So now let me tell you how to do a research. Just a quick one. Yeah, I'm just going to share this with you, and I hope that you can use that. So when you're looking to apply, don't just say, oh, my friend went to University of Kentucky, that's what I'm just going to do and stuff. Or I'm just looking for there is a website, master's portal, for example. You put in your course there, this is what you want to study, this is where you're from. It will give you a list of schools. Now what you do, I'm telling you, is a lot of work. For each school, you have to open the website. You have to see what is available. So when you open the website, the next thing you're going is scholarships, or maybe your course. So if you go to your course, you see, oh, this tuition is 15,000, is a lot of money. Definitely where you see the cost and fees, or fees and funding, you will see the funding. It will take you to a paid scholarship page. Check there. There are some that even have their like a search engine where you just put what country you're from, and it will give you a list of what is available to you. Most times what you find is like global excellence scholarship, achiever, high achievement. So you need to write an essay, 250 words essay. Do the work. Even if you have to pay an expert, just make sure that you are involved, because the person cannot be as good as you. Let's be honest, because you have your experience. There's something that you want to see. So the person can help you put it in the right words, but it's still your experience. So that is how to search. You need to go.
Yes, especially schools. Like there's no one place that you say everything. Like it's very important. Like there are certain people that I noticed that got like tuition fee waivers. There's a friend of mine that I think got 70% off, and I'm like, which scholarship is that one? Like, wow. And then I went to check this. I think it was University of Exeter, and I was like, oh wow, they have this. So the thing is, a lot of these scholarships are not publicized, guys.
Because they can't all be. I mean, think about it. Where if they can't, I mean, there are some scholarships that is even for like sub-Saharan Africans, scholarship for Nigeria, scholarship for maybe student from West Africa. You need to do your research. And there's this thing, if somebody is talking about a university, all that you want to do is not just, oh, okay. You need to go and research, what do they have in my department? So I have this thing of checking for scholarship so I've talked about, the institution scholarship. I've talked about faculty. Now, also your courses right now. I mean, STEM courses are okay, but I want to tell you there are other scholarships for like marketing and other ones. So I'm just going to talk about the STEM. So currently, most UK universities that I know, they are offering about 10,000 pounds for female students that are going to do artificial intelligence and data science. And you don't even need to have a background. And that's the funny thing. I mean, I don't need to have a background. All that they want to see is that, okay, you're a numbers person. And maybe in some way you've done maybe a certification. So you don't need to be like, oh, my first degree your first degree can be in mass communication, but maybe you've learned coding from Codecademy and you have the certificate, or you've learned from, and you can apply. And the funny thing is that they would even tell you what the eligibility is and your chances of getting. So if you're black, you're great. If you're female, great. If you're from a low income earning family, great. I mean, that's practically if you're from Nigeria, because so I mean, there's just so much. There's just so much.
Like it pains me that people because it pains me that people say, oh, there are not enough scholarships, because someone even asked what other scholarships are there apart from Tribune and Commonwealth. I'm like, that's even the mistake you're making. I know that those scholarships are prestigious and all of that. to be honest, I had a friend of mine who got rejected for Chevening, but she got 100% scholarships to University of East Anglia for, I think it was global. So
Yeah.
I'm like, because these things can mess with you. Like, these scholarships they have a lot of publicity, so many people are going to apply. I'm not saying don't apply for them, but try
exactly.
alternatives, try backup.
Alternatives,
There are many, because what's the point of being a small fish in a wide ocean, or a big fish in something that many people are not trying to? Do you understand? Because lots of these things are available. Do you get? So I just feel like all that energy that you put on these popular scholarships, you should also put it on these specific ones as well. So you said one, they should type in their school and the course, they should check their departments, they should check the school courses. See, guys, if you spend like 30, it might even be longer than 30 minutes, but if you just say one day, let me go and check all the schools.
Or one school per day.
It was like a few weeks ago, I was just checking. I was seeing funding, even for media courses and film. Just sit down and be checking the school's funding page. You'll be shocked that they have like a lot of funding. But just that most of this funding, so they're different. Okay, let me not even go too deep into, because you're going to talk about that. But there are different people with different requirements. You know? So it's not everybody that, if they even get the funding, because you still have to pay for, your travel to the place. But then obviously, I feel like you just have to find a way we'll talk about that. So I think we have gotten clear on how to find it. So aside from these tuition fee waivers, what other alternatives do you think that people can consider?
Really, I mean, we've talked about we can't really say loans in Nigeria. I mean, if we're being honest, there isn't any loans, but that's not to say that you cannot look for, because I know that in Nigeria, in some states, there are like scholarships that they give, or grants or loans like that are available. Now, also, I think that it's very important that if you're a research person, if you know that you like research, so rather than going for a thought masters, find funding, find grants that are available for that research that you want to do. So I would not go without saying this, that courses are changing. They're like dynamics. I mean, I studied globalization, business and sustainable development. In 4 years before now, I don't think that there was, maybe 10 years before now, I don't even think there was a course like that. So it's telling you that international development is gaining attention. So energy saving courses.
I took one recently, climate change,
climate change, exactly. Climate change. And it was one of the reasons I was so determined not to do my master's in Nigeria, because I don't felt like what I wanted to do definitely was not available in Nigeria. So you also have to consider, don't be stuck on, it has to be engineering, or it has to be
stuck on the course, because you'll be
exactly
growth that you would have. Like, even for me applying for a major scholarship, changing my course, I thought was a big factor. And now that I've done the course, I'm happy that I studied it. So I'm not saying that because if you want to be a lawyer, it's not gonna be a doctor. But you should not be too rigid in one thing. I think you mentioned that you saw better funding for your second choice course, and you will not regret it. So sometimes some things have more funding than others. Just about what is your end goal? What exactly do you want? I don't know.
And also, and also I think that you know the way your course is in Nigeria might be very different. So apart from you just putting the particular, you need to do research and know what this course will probably have a different. And now there's this thing that happens, especially with UK, US, and Canadian schools. They believe that the higher you go, the more concentrated you should get, the more focused what you want to study should get. So you can't have that wide. I mean, you're hardly going to find a master's in mass communication. You have to focus on something. So is it going to be journalism? Is it going to be public relations? Would it be marketing? Would it be branding? So that's how you get to PhD, and it gets slimmer as you go on. So you need to understand that I'm sorry if I'm using mass communication, I'll try to find something else. So if maybe you've done civil engineering, for example, in Nigeria university, you need to find something else that is probably called in the UK. You need to, maybe it's going to be structural engineering, or it's going to be something probably called another name. So you need to.
And if your goal is to that far, please check if there are available opportunities for the course you want to study.
And there are. So I'm going to share a link, internationalscholarship.com. You can just international scholarship, and I think the most interesting thing about the website is you could literally just the course that you want to do, the country you're from, and the country you're applying to, and it's going to give you. I'm not even like one reset can be like 400. Obviously, everything might not apply to you. And also for female students that are applying, look for opportunities. I mean, that also breaks down that competition, because I mean, if you're in a scholarship that is like, oh, men and everyone, but now it's just women, or women in STEM, women in communication, it breaks it down. So they are gender-based scholarships. So I found a scholarship recently, and it was equal pay scholarship, something to promote equal pay. And there are MBA scholarships for women in business, and Harvard is one of the ones trying to push all those ones. So there are opportunities that. Also, I don't know if there are people that they're not done with, let's say, first degree. I think that preparation is very important. I met some students recently doing very great at the University of Lagos, and I told them, you can start now, because all the things that you need for Chevy, for example, all the things that you're going to need for next year application is what they are using this year. Maybe just this. So why don't you look at the eligibility? What do I need to get in advance? So if you have, yes, please go on.
Oh, I'm just adding to what you're saying.
Yeah, sure. That's fine. Yeah. So if maybe you're not done or you're not ready, I just feel like sometimes they're like, oh, next year, and then you don't try to. You did the work now. I even prefer that I get the admission now. I have this thing of you can defer. I mean, it doesn't have, because you never know what opportunity they will just say like, oh, that's fine. We like what you are saying. What can you submit your certificate maybe later in the year? And you're just thinking, my school is a public school. We don't even know where we're going to get our certificate. So there's just so much. Yeah, there's just so much.
So I'm sure there are people that are wondering, these opportunities are available and you work with people in terms of getting them. So what tips do you have for the application for those particular assistantships, in terms of how best should they present themselves? How can they communicate their value in terms of like their statements, essays, and things like that?
Okay, so I'm going to say that with tuition waivers, with this discount, there's your personal statement. For example, in the UK, I've said that because my experience is there. Your personal statement comes first before anything, and there are some that you're automatically considered for. So as long as you have a scholarship, as long as you have an admission, you get this discount. Now, how do you make sure that you get the admission?
Exactly.
So the personal statement, you have to make sure that you're not one of those people that will copy a personal statement from
generic personal statement.
So your personal statement, it's you. So why do you want to study? It's not as simple as why do you want to study this course, why the UK, but the courses that you've done. I mean, sometimes, and the good thing about some of these schools is you can change your course. I mean, I did mass communication for first degree and I went totally almost off, and did something in business, sustainable development, and that. But it's not saying that, okay, so I'm currently working on this and I think that this will be good for me afterwards. So what experience do I have to highlight that? What courses did I do that was maybe just for a semester, but then made me say, or made me think that this is the course that I want.
Where did I work?
And work as well. So where are you currently working? So you probably don't have any work, probably you're fresh from the university, but doing your internship. And I must mention that leadership positions in school are very important. I mean, if I think back to when I was in the university, did I regret some of the things? I mean, yes, sometimes, because I wish that I knew these things and I could have done better. So if you're that person that, I don't like to be an ESCO, and you want scholarship, you might want to change that, because the truth is some people have gotten the scholarship because of the positions that they took. So there's a scholarship.
Even after school, you can. I feel like
after school,
like one thing people don't realize is how mad. Let me not use mad, but how awesome volunteering opportunities are. Like, guys, every opportunity you have to volunteer and lead something. And the thing is that many people think, oh, leadership is just the position. Sometimes you can also maneuver your way with saying, oh, as part of a volunteer in this thing, I created this, or I led a group. Sometimes, even if it's 5 people you led a group, and that's that. Even if you are the volunteer to manage the WhatsApp group, you can say I manage online communications. But literally just putting yourself in places while you're waiting for jobs, because we know that, okay, yeah, jobs are not automatic, but what else can you do? Do you understand?
Yeah.
What can you just do to put on your CV? What can you create? I feel like that's very important, because I know people can be like, oh yeah, I did not do anything in school, so is that the end for me? No.
But that's not the end. So, because what I'm saying is for people that are still there, because I know some people are watching now. Maybe you just have 1 year to go, or anyone. It's very important, all those escorts. And the thing is, I don't want to say packaging, is how you present that information.
Exactly.
You're probably just the treasurer. That's one great leadership. You're probably just maybe the PRO and you never did anything. So when I was applying for this globalization business and so, one of the things I did mention was that I used to write back in school. How many newspapers did you write? My school had one newspaper, but that experience to say, okay, I led this newspaper team. I was the editor at the time, mass communication.
Even if it's one publication, guys.
Yeah, even if it's one. And the funny thing was they did ask to see one of them, but I had it handy anyway. So it just works. And
don't
like you said,
lying is just, don't even do it. But
yeah,
the way you can package yourself. Like, I've had situations where there was an award that I mentioned that my brand won, and it was really just an online award, like on their Instagram page. Oh, this, and I said, yeah, it's an award. Like, it's an award, guys. Whatever it is, don't look down on any.
You cannot look down on any
or achievement. Just find a way to put it, because so many special statements are going to be generic. But especially for schools that the discounts are automatic, you need to be able to stand out from the personal statement. Don't wait for when they now say, oh, then come and write essay. They might consider every single aspect of your application. And guys, if you have questions, you could drop them in the chat box, because you have a full-time consultant here that has experience. So please drop your questions. But I know you guys asked some questions while you were registered. Someone said, does grade matter? What do you think in terms of getting these tuition fee waivers, admissions, and things?
So I'll say yes to an extent, but it's very shaky, but yes, but not all the way. So grades matter in the sense that it puts your foot, at the door, but that's not all it does. That's not all that. I mean, if you put your foot and you cannot enter, then there's no point. But grade is not all that it is to it. So let's say, I must say that if you have like a 2-2 or a third class, it's not the end. It's definitely not the end. If you have a math class, great. But if you have this other grades, it's not the end. I'll say why. If you can get the admission, because what we are saying now is for you, for someone like you, because I'm talking about, automatic scholarship discounts and all, is to get the admission. So you have to meet up for that somewhere else. So that probably would be your work experience or your leadership values or your personality. And personality sells a lot right now. So how much work have you done? And like you were saying, volunteering experience in Nigeria, I think I've noticed that, yes, because people like to take advantage, but you need something from these people. Exactly. So they might think that it's a free ride for them, but you know what you're looking for. So all those times you're doing CWES in school, and are you taking good use of it? So let's say you're done, just make sure that you find an opportunity to work somewhere. Maybe if you want to do some international development, look for an NGO.
Something related, exactly, like
that you can, even if it's just teaching students, even if it's just, I just want to help, I just need this experience.
Let me help you, be following you.
Let me help you. Yeah, people there. So it's very, very important to know that grades is not. I applied for. I couldn't apply for chairman at the time. I just come out from the university, and I didn't even know that. I I didn't think about it that I could wait and maybe just gain experience. You know, we usually have that, I just want to leave Nigeria.
I want to do it now. I want to do it now.
Like, I want to do it
The
now. I want to
strategy.
do it. And I think that maybe as we go on, I hope that somebody asks, I'm going to say that as much as we always talk about scholarships, we need to take our time.
Yeah.
It's very important. And we need, sometimes you might be that person that needs some experience before you go for a master's. You might be that person that needs some experience before you go for your PhD. I don't think that it's not all about leaving Nigeria. It's so much after. If you have your post-study work period afterwards, what are you going to do? If you're not planned and it just lands on your feet, my dear, you're going to be shocked.
You will miss the opportunity, and you could even make a mistake, because I know someone that
so there is a planning that I think is very important, and I like to mention from my experience, there's a planning that comes with it. So your grade is not all. So I don't talk off topic. Your grade is not all. Your experience, you know, and what you've done in that field is very important. But if you're still in school, I'm not going to go without saying that if you're still in school, try your best. Try your best. We are not there yet where your grades will not matter at all. We're not there yet. But as we begin to get there, make sure that you put in the total work. You put all the work that you, because the truth is, I mean, some schools in Nigeria, I know they'll do A is for God, B is for me, and then C is for, and at the end of the day, I'm going to say this because when I was studying, I had this lecturer tell me, oh, he didn't want, I was changing course at the time, and he told me he didn't want a nuisance in his department, and I was like, what? And at the time was like, I'm not going to, you're not going to enter this course, you're not going to pass it. And I did everything, but thankfully he left afterwards and I was able to. So I understand it, but please, if you have the opportunity to, and I must, so I've done my master's, I'm applying to some PhD that they'll say distinction is what they want for their PhD. Grade matters. I had the merit. So in some cases, because that is probably something that you really want, so you're probably limited sometimes. So it matters, but not all the way. It's not the end of the road for you if you don't have. There's still opportunity, but you might need to like do a bit of more work. But I mean, it makes up for it.
Okay, so we have a question here, and I feel like I wanted us to talk about some aspects, but I feel like this is very important. And okay, this was a direct message. I'm not going to say the person's name, but the person wants to know. The person already has a few offers. And has already been accepted, but getting funding has been a big deal. A few scholarships that the person applied for didn't work out. Torn between how I can get funding as I'm yet to see more options. Okay, but they're already browsing through the website you shared. P.S. I got discounts for a few of them, but the gap is still quite large. What do you advise? I think how much is even the fees, to be honest? Because I don't know if you applied for 25,000.
Yeah, so you see what every individual, you have what you can afford, and I'm not going to lie. When I meet a client, my first question is, what's your budget?
Yeah,
I don't mind if you tell me I don't have money, but I want to know what I'm working with. Yeah. So I think that first you must ask yourself, how much can I actually afford for this? So if all that you have, for example, all that you can raise from family and friends are very important. Personal loans, personal savings, everything is 3 million. Now,
what if somebody has only 1 million?
So let's say, okay, so let's use a 1 million budget.
Or someone like me, I don't even 1 naira.
So obviously, like in this, let's also realize that in some of these studies, for people that are able to afford something, which can be from personal savings, which can be from, because from personal savings might be working
for your travel and visa.
So let's say that your budget is 1 million. Yeah. Now, my first option, if I'm you, I want to look for the most affordable school in the UK. I want to go and browse for the most affordable school. So I'm going to take an example. Let's say Teesside University. Teesside University has 2 years masters. Great, because UK usually doesn't do 2 years, and it's 7,500. I mean, if you look at schools, you know that 7,500 It's very cheap
Yeah.
because some schools are for a year. So I want to say, okay, 7,500. If I multiply that convert that to naira, how much is that now? What can Seaside offer me from that? So if Seaside says that, oh, we have this excellence scholarship that you automatically, so you're looking for something that you can automatically get because you've been applying for some and you're not getting. Yeah, so you're giving yourself more opportunities, and it says that it can give you 2,000. Now minus that and ask yourself, can I do this? Can what I have pay for maybe my deposits?
Yeah,
because you pay for the deposits. Yeah, so there's a financial planning to this. It's very important when you're going to study abroad because it's no joke. So there's a deposit that you pay. Does the school, how many installments does the school allow you to pay? So does the school allow you to pay up to 9 installments? There are some schools, I must tell you, that allow you to pay every month once you open a bank account.
Wow. So you can just
every month. So literally, it's not, if you have families at home that can be sending you money, it spaces it out for them. Your option is quite different from someone who has nothing. Yeah. So every month I can pay, so I can say, okay, so that's 9 or 12 installments, and maybe they can meet up till maybe a bit after your course is done till everything. So let's say that's 9 installments. Now, how much do I have to pay every month? Now, my living expenses, Seaside, what's the accommodation like? If I take a student accommodation, some of them will tell you to pay at once, some you might not have to. But what happens is that you don't pay for transport. You literally wake up from your bed and you're in school. You're using the school internet. Like, there's a lot more that you and overhead cost. So are you thinking about that? Or maybe you want to be you don't want to pay at once, but you and your friends, maybe you have some people, or you join groups before you even leave, and you're like maybe 6 or 5, and you get an apartment that's divided by 5 people, divided by 6. There's a whole lot of networking. When you get your offer, you need to ask the international recruitment team, is there a WhatsApp group? Because you meet people from Nigeria that are living, hustlers like you, that are living as well.
A babe that got rejected for scholarship. She's currently in Leicester Uni right now.
Exactly. So you have to meet them and tell them you want to join the WhatsApp, because, and I'm going to tell you something. So when I applied for a student last month for we applied for 7,000. We're just like, oh, we can afford the rest because the school lets them pay every month. And all of a sudden, we just saw that the school announced 100% scholarship. I work with the school. I didn't even see it. And because I have lots of these subscriptions I just subscribed to, and it came in, I was like, 100% at the University of Eastern, it can't be. And I went on. What if I tell you that where it was on the scholarship, I felt like it was hidden. I'm always on the school's website. I'm always applying, and I didn't even see it. And there was this link that just took me to the 100% scholarship, and I was like, oh, and I had to apply quickly. So there's a lot of financial planning.
I also think that if you get discounts, because that person that 100%, she I think she got 50%, and then she couldn't afford it, and then she emailed them that she couldn't afford it.
Yes,
you can. 100%. So you could also.
Yes, you can. And if the school thinks that you're very good and the experience you're bringing is good, and you know something, you have an advantage as an international, as a Nigerian from a developing country. They want that. This also kind of goes into your experience when you get there in getting jobs. Those are those things that when you need, for some people, you can choose between doing a dissertation and a work placement. In getting that work placement, what you bring to the organization is the diversity. Every organization is about diversity now. So you can sell that to your department. There's financial planning. And I think that first, you must do that financial planning. How much do I have? So I've been trying for full scholarship, but I'm currently
I don't have money, uncle. I don't have 1 naira.
Then you know that it's funded or not.
Can people successfully self-fund, like work and pay, if they get a discount? You need to answer that question. For people that don't have money,
that's where the financial plan. I don't know how much everyone is worth.
They don't have money.
You don't have a job. I'm not going to lie.
You can find money to
The
travel.
work that you are going to do in UK, can I be honest? I'm going to use UK as my experience. It's not going to be enough to fund if you don't get enough discount. I mean, if you get 100% tuition waiver, your living expensive, it might be able to carry you. But that's the thing. Like you have to know what you can do. Like I said, in my case, I had a partner back in the UK. Yeah, and I had the option of, okay, he could support. I had families that could support. I had families back home who were going to say, oh, this is 200, this is 100, this is, and I was ready to do the work. I'm not going to lie to you. When I got to the UK, it's not all fancy and rosy. I did work. Like when I mean work, I'm not saying white collar job to the office. I washed plates, my dear. Because it's just the truth. Because I can't
make up my hours. Yeah,
I have to make that 20 hours. I have to make as much money. Thankfully, as students, you're not paying any tax. So you pack, you put in all the energy.
Lots of student discounts as well for many.
And that's the thing. So how much because you have bursaries as well, you have food bank. Students don't even know, like your food might have a place where you get like food for cheap or something, and I get everything I see student discount.
I've collected
card for bus.
This scholarship I've collected.
So I think that I got a card for bus because I was a student. I think it was £200 for the whole year. And that's like as much as I want. And there are bursaries, maybe you win £50 here, you win £100 there, and somebody will call you for a job, and you do it. I think my first work was like £200 for a week. I jumped, and I can't forget the experience. And I was able to put that towards my rent. At some point, I started paying my tuition as well per month. And when I knew that, okay, at UA, I couldn't finish, it was obviously staying there after you need more opportunity, more money. And because the wage changes by city as well, I went back to London and I made my money before UK said, okay, come and go. So, and now you have 2 years. Another thing is that
now you have 2 years to stay in the UK.
Another thing is you look for all these opportunities after. So you don't want to wait until the end of the year. There's express entry if you're still young, Canadian express entry that you can do, like you can set your mind at after that. So you need to plan for your post-study as well. It's not just, while you're studying. So yeah, for that person, if you currently have offers, so I don't want to go with that, just addressing your question. If you have offers, you can wait also. I think that there is blessing in waiting.
And one.
There is blessing in waiting if you have the time and it's not a do or die affair for you right now. Why don't you give it a chance? I feel like some scholarship intentionally don't give it the first time. I'm not kidding. So I used to attend lots of World Bank, young professional programs, events, online hiring, and in fact the program manager said that she applied 3 times and that she would not like that. Sometimes they see how, it's almost like they want to see how persistent you are and see how you've grown in a year, that they don't give you the first time. And like yourself, you applied twice. So there's also blessing in waiting.
There's even growth.
There's growth.
I believe that
there's so much that you can do, that you can plan yourself and just say, in this 1 year, even if I
will develop myself to the point that
and I'll save,
I can get it. Okay, exactly. You can, because my problem is, do you know my biggest problem with this thing? And that's why even in my community group, when I'm talking to people and they're asking me for advice, I'm like, my biggest thing is don't think that it's a do or die affair for now. People think that if they don't get it this moment, this year, this school, this particular scholarship, they can never get it. And that's the first problem. You need to realize that life is not, I must get to this moment. It's a journey. I'm so happy that I wasn't accepted for Chevening the first time I applied, because who I was then and who I am now is different. My interest, everything. And I know someone as well this year that got rejected for Chevening and she was really down. And a month later, she got a job with a multinational company, and she doesn't even want to do the course she was applying for Chevening.
Yeah.
Now you're telling me that if she applies next year, she won't be able to get it. So I just feel like for you, if you, like she said, if you have some vex money, fine, you can try. If your goal is to go and stay, and you know that because to be honest, juggling things might be a little difficult. That's why, like she said, get affordable schools and then get tuition fee waivers. But just going straight with nothing, no affordable, no, I just feel like that's going to be difficult. That's why these tuition fee waivers are very important. Try to get 100%. I don't know if you get 100% it's possible, 50%, but when you
They're 100%. Like University of Sheffield has a scholarship that is 100%
even Sussex has as
scholarship.
well.
Yeah, and they even pay for your accommodation. They give you an accommodation. The University West of England has something similar. I'm not mentioning schools that I know that have that. So every school,
I think Bristol has Think Big. If you didn't get it this year, it's fine.
Yes, Think Big is another one. And then there's this one, Future Great, something around climate change that is coming out now. So you might want to consider other courses as well. And there are opportunities. I mean, in the UK is big on aid. So they like all this aid. That's why you see Save the Children, Oxfam. There are opportunities for you to get a job outside. So by the time I finished, I have a friend that's gone back now to the UK to work, and that's because obviously he had experience here working here, and he did some work with some NGOs back in the UK. So by the time he came back, they offered him a job, and he's there. So
exactly what
opportunities that you might even have to
plan. We're meant to have gotten all these things and come back, and they're not doing anything with it. It's about your plan. I think you got a message or something that you wanted to answer.
Oh, I think I saw that it was a private message. So yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Let me see.
Okay, so while you're looking at other questions, I just want to say that this is for, I have a bit of money. I think I work. There's a way that I can, manage. But if it's for fully funded and that is your only option, I would say take your time.
Yeah.
It takes time. It takes lots of patience. If you're not patient, I don't know, like it's not something that you rush into. It's not even like a CV that you just apply. Oh, this one looks good, I apply. You practically have to do everything again. So if you're looking for fully funded, and also there's something that Faith mentioned that I wanted to talk about. Why are you taking the scholarship? If it's to, let me use the word jackpot, maybe Chevney is not the one, maybe Commonwealth, because you have to come back from Nigeria. So what are the opportunities that you're looking for? So if I know that the reason is I want to leave Nigeria for greener pastures, and my belief is that except I leave Nigeria, it cannot work. Or maybe there are some people that just say that I don't want to be comfortable, and I would say that don't look at all those ones sponsored by government that put it there that they want you to come back, or that will state that there's a ticket, return ticket. You want to look for those ones that 100% and maybe will give you monthly stipend without putting that condition, because you don't want to feel bad at the end of the day when the contract says you have to stay back for 5 years or 4 years. So that you must know what you're looking for. So if you know that you want to stay back, try to look for something that doesn't put that condition. And there are, like I've mentioned, these schools are usually the ones that they don't care if you stay back. They either give you 100% scholarship or they give you, tuition waiver. Now, we've not even talked about graduate assistantships. And I think that somebody did ask that question. But graduate assistantship, usually in the US, that's where you find that, and also in Canada. It's very important that you have some sort of experience. Teaching experience is very important. You must have written some journal articles, that's research experience as well. So with that research or graduate assistantship, so you probably say, what's graduate assistantship? So it's where it's a trade by barter thing with you and the university. You work for the university 20 hours. If you're an international student, you can't work more than 20 hours. You work 20 hours and the school then pays you with that. So they pay your tuition with your work. So almost like a work as but it's called graduate assistantship. You can look for that if you have experience. and the applications. There are schools that in the US, I know about Fort State University. I know there's Kent State University as well. They have that. So they have all those graduate assistants, but you need to read. Do not apply for something that you clearly know. Like, except it says that you can also apply if you don't meet some. There are some that will tell you that this is the eligibility. If it says that it is not for international students, don't apply.
Exactly.
You don't want to be disappointed with so many rejections. You want to give yourself that hope that you're going to get it. So look at the eligibility. If it says that you must have some teaching experience and you don't have, and you think, oh, you're going to lie your way through, usually there'll be interviews and they will screen you. So I think that the requirements are big.
And I think some of them, there are even criteria for you delivering on the job.
Exactly.
You can apply for.
So make sure that you have that.
But I think I'm interviewing someone that got it, I think, in 2 weeks. So yeah, I can share a journey.
So I think that's great. Like if you can bring somebody on for graduate, as I've worked with students who got it. I didn't apply for them. I applied to the school, and usually they email the school to say, oh, I can see. And you know one thing, you can email the schools, they respond. I think I have that thing where I don't want to know that school that I cannot email, because they have that thing where they would reply you. They would send you, even if they think that question is like, who would answer?
Give you an answer.
They will still give you an answer. They will tell you. So you can literally, like, maybe you're not finding anything, but you really want to go to this school. You can email let's say the faculty, or you see the PGT admission, that's the postgraduate admissions or international admissions. Are there funding available? I'm really looking to study at a prestigious university, and they will respond and tell you, you can do this, or this is what we have right now. So do not be. Sometimes when I want to send an email and I'm thinking, what if they just give me? I'll just say, oh, what's the highest that's going to happen? And I press the send button. They will respond. So somebody said I talk about undergrad scholarships. I'll tell you some of the things that you need and getting them, because I think most times we talk about postgrad. For undergrad, you need SAT. And I'm not kidding, because your wire cannot do justice. Your wire cannot take you so far. Or maybe some people have done A levels. Some people do A levels. If you can't do A levels and you have, because most times for undergrad admissions, they even ask for that. Or if not, you have to do the foundation year or something. So I would say for undergrad, you need SAT. If you can sit down and write SAT and TOEFL or IELTS, depending on the country. TOEFL is for the US, and IELTS is for UK and Canada. Not to say that they cannot be, maybe you've written TOEFL for US and then now you're thinking of applying to UK. There are some schools that do allow you to submit a TOEFL result, but you need an excellent result, because with undergraduates, there's not so much experience, except maybe a matured student. So that means maybe you've finished secondary school for a while, and I think that you can use that. We say you've been working, you've been developing yourself and trying to do that, yes. But if not, try to do SAT. Try to do
get
SAT.
high scores.
And get high scores. It's not that just about it, get high scores, because it doesn't, that one opens the door a lot if you do SAT, because
extracurricular,
the opportunities are there, and there's so much to add as well. So I would say SAT for undergrad admissions and scholarships. And there are scholarships as well. Now, the scholarships are not so many as postgraduates, because it's lots of money. And some will probably say, so when it comes to tuition waivers, it might be for a year, it might say 3 semesters, and depending on the country, they might have, so their 3 semesters might be for 1 year, or they'll just give you a semester. So try to see what the scholarship is offering. So before you sign up, so that you will not go to the country and then they will say, we're giving you for 3 quarters, and then you get there and you're shocked, like, oh, I thought 3 quarters was going to be for. Make sure that you know what you're signing up to. But for undergrad scholarships, I'll say that this scholarship that I mentioned, just make sure to look for I think there is, I think it's bachelor's portal now where you can see schools and then use that to then find scholarships that are available in schools. Most times, all the schools that have for postgraduate will have something for undergrad. Now, for UK schools, we have some schools that charge the same thing for home students and international students, but their undergraduates will now be the one that is high. So you have to also look at that, but look out for scholarship apps. And also, they do this thing where if you have a very good grade for, let's say, your first year, you can apply for a scholarship in your second year. So let's say you can afford it, and the school, you've done your research, the school says that, oh, you get scholarship for second year something. In Canada, there's a school that does that a lot. I don't want to mention, but there are schools that do that a lot, where if you do well in your first year, you get sometimes even like they'll tell you the amount, maybe like 20,000 Canadian dollars that you can then split depending on the school fees to do that. And the other scholarship, because you're there as well, that you can apply to. So that's for undergrad. I mean, undergrad, sometimes with foundation is 4 years, without foundation is 3 years. It's a lot of money that I think that you can definitely, there are some of you that are probably maybe finished at 15 and you've stayed home for 3 years. What have you been doing? I think because right now, I'm not, with all the applications I've done, you need to explain for all those years that you're not doing anything. Also, for undergrad scholarships, there's something very important. If you're looking at the US, I think that you should visit I think it's the Education USA. Yes. You see, this Education USA, people don't visit it a lot, but I'll say that I'm even surprised how I don't get there and it's full. So it's at the US Embassy in, I think, Ikoyi or thereabout, and they have these meetings. If you have good grades, I'm not going to lie, they take good grades and experience, they put your documents together, and they have schools that they help you apply to. I think you just pay very, very minimal amount. Very minimal, like if I didn't mention, like just be surprised. But they go through your documents. I think that you can visit Education USA. They are good. They are also on Facebook. I don't even know why I'm doing a free promotion, but I'm doing it because you need to know about them. It's at the US Embassy. I think it's even by the US itself, embassy itself. But they help you. So if you're, and US has lots of funding. We're not even going to we're going to put it and arrange it. US, UK, then Canada. US has lots of funding, undergraduate or postgraduate or research.
Assistantships and
assistantships. So if you're someone some of you that is just the US or nothing else, use Education USA. You can find them on Facebook. I think their meetings is usually Mondays or Wednesday now. They'll give you a slot, you pick, you book an appointment. I don't know if they are back. During COVID, they stopped, but they are probably back. I've visited it once as well, just obviously my research. I like going up and down and stuff. But they will tell you to submit the documents you have. They will give you someone that will work with you. But if you put in the work, I'm telling you, you're going to come back and send us a message that you've gotten. So that's for US. So for Canada doesn't have. They do, but most times it's usually like funding in research and stuff. But just look up.
But there's
lots of this. Yeah. So I'll check. I'll see if I can share a few links for internationalscholarship.com, scholarship for deaf. So that's for scholarship for developing countries. That works. Those are the sites that I use. And Study Green Info. I think it's studygreen.info as well. And you can subscribe to them, and every day you get an alert. That's what I do. Like
I
get an alert to scholarships, and as you go on. So yeah.
There's a recurrent question here, and I just feel like you have to answer it. And it's okay. The first part of the question is, can we submit transcripts personally, even when the university says it must be from the institute?
So when you say can I submit personally, is that like
in the application?
Is that you sending it like postal or like just by? Okay, so let me just talk about transcript. Yeah, let me talk about transcript. So for UK schools, UK is not really like big on official transcript.
Exactly.
So but what I usually say is get a copy from your school. I actually don't know why Nigerian universities don't give you a student copy.
My school
Like
gave me.
my transcript, my school gave me as well, but I know from working with some schools
Yeah.
that it is so difficult.
It's
I'll
so
say that if you're
annoying.
still in school, gather all of them together, because for UK they don't care if it comes from, as long as it's stamped and signed and they can see that okay it's your copy, they will take it. Then maybe when you're about to resume they can say forward it, but most times they don't. But for other universities,
Yeah.
now another thing you can do is to use WES. So you use WES, that is the World Education Services. Usually for people who have tried Canada will know about it, but you use it for, you can use it to get your evaluation, but then they store that your information, and anytime you
Is
need
it
it
free or
anywhere.
paid?
Sorry?
Is it free or paid?
It's paid.
Oh, the person is saying that it's expensive if we have to get
So now
from
for
many
personal scholarship,
universities.
you have your copy. You can tell the school now, because sometimes as well you're applying to multiple schools. You can tell the schools that okay, you have a copy that you can send to them, and once you get the offer and you've confirmed or about to resume, you'll be sure to send. But don't do that without informing them first, because if it's for Canada, they would not, some schools, just very few, will look at your application before you send the official. So what they say is once you get the admission, your school still has to send it. So it's country specific. I know that, yeah, and I know that since we'll be talking UK, US, Canada, other countries, I don't know if I can touch on that now. But yeah, so just make sure that you email them to say, oh, okay, I just want to, I have a copy. I don't know if I can use that to get an admission, and I'll be sure to, get my transfer forwarded to you from my university once the offer is out. If they are fine with it, they will tell you. Sometimes they don't do it often, but they might say, oh, okay, that's fine, because you're applying to multiple schools, right? And you don't know which one you want to go for. So I'll say some schools allow you to. You just need to find out.
Okay, and then there's a lot of questions on IELTS. So apart from IELTS or TOEFL, can we submit an official certificate of English language proficiency from our institution, or what other options do we have if we don't want
So some schools don't take that. Some schools is either you have IELTS,
or not?
you have TOEFL, or your WAEC result. Now your WAEC result is becoming like really, really important. But some schools will say if it is more than 10 years,
Exactly.
they can't take it.
Even 5
But
years.
some schools, as long as you submitted them, they are fine. So I would say that let them know. So let me just say the English language requirements are available for, so how you can meet that English language requirement. So IELTS, yes, TOEFL, PTE, of course, and then your WAEC results. So usually C4 is the grade. Some schools will hardly say C6, but if they do, that's fine. Just check if they put C6. So C4, C6 for your WAEC or NECO. Yes, your NECO. And also undergraduate, some schools are asking for JAM, so you're on the go. Exactly. Yes, so if you have a letter from your school, there's some that will tell you get a letter of instruction. So that's just to say that yes, you have been taught 4 years for your bachelor's, and language of instruction has been English. If it is a recognized university, so a few ones they take them, a few ones they take them. Yes, and then a letter from your employer. If you're working in the public sector, they take that. Some schools, schools are just looking for ways that they can get you closer, so they will tell you what is available. So let's say you've been working in the media, you've been writing public sector, you've been writing in English, you can get a letter from your employer to say, I use English. So make sure that you look at, I'll say for every university, make sure you look at Nigeria, because it's changing now. I've seen like over 5 schools where they will put Nigeria as on the exempted list from submitting an English language requirement. Yes, like Nigeria will be there and I'll be screaming. If being on the list with some countries is something else, but yes, it's interesting to see. So make sure you look for Nigeria. Either you put it somewhere where it says international student, or you look for information about your country. So you put Nigeria and see what they have. Is very, 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 very important.
Okay, so someone is saying, are there more fully funded scholarships or alternative routes? And how do I go about them the right way?
I think that's all we've been talking about.
But
Yeah,
then which one is more though? Like,
which one is more?
They do.
Most of the ones that you find are all these discounts, automatic discounts, of course. But I think that what makes automatic discount is if you don't get those 1,000 or 2,000, don't look for those ones. I mean, except of course you can afford them. Yes, but if you're looking for something big, you want to look for 50% to 100%, and I'll tell you that is the universities that usually would have that. So you need to check. So let's say now I know that Nottingham has my course. I want to see the scholarships that are available in Nottingham. I'll probably see 50%, or we're giving. So the 50% might just be £7,000, or it might be £10,000, it might be 15,000, and then you might see some 100. So most times the schools are the ones that offer that in the UK. Yes.
Right. So you guys have any final questions?
I think somebody just said, what if my job experience is different from what I studied? Good.
Fine.
Schools now are becoming very flexible. For UK, that for sure. I mean, right now, UK, except currently, courses like psychology is becoming like medicine. So if you have interest studying in psychology, this is the time, because by next year, and I think the reason is because now you are inducted into the psychology association and stuff. So it's now hot cake that if you don't have a first degree, it will be hard, except you have the experience and they can verify that you've been working in psychology. Yes, so I would say that I don't want to go off that question. You can apply for that. Just make sure you align to your work experience. So I don't know if you now want to do the course in your work experience. So if what you want to do now is where you're currently working, let your personal statement reflect how you got there. So how did that change happen? So maybe you did one event. There was an event in school, and that's when you started thinking about it. Obviously, you've already started 4 years. So after that, now you've now seen that your first job gave you the opportunity to do this. I liked the duties. I liked the job role. Explain. It will get you an admission. I'm not kidding. So
because that's exactly what I did. Like my course. Yes. MSc Creative Enterprise. My first degree was History and International Relations. It's not even related.
So yeah, you can. The UK is quite flexible, and it doesn't affect your visa.
Working in the industry, and that's that. Though now, the thing is that it always helps if your first degree is a little related. To be honest, now my course, I think they've even updated it that you have to have some related kind of, because it's even to help you. There are some courses that you don't need it. But there are a lot of courses that experiences are okay, but I'm sure that depends on whatever it is that you studied. It's very doable, because then someone is asking what's another career that is hot cake. I know nursing. And you know nursing
is one. And nursing makes lots of money, and I don't think there will ever be any country that will have enough nurse. So
nursing is
you can't have enough. So I say for nursing, definitely schools are now becoming, before it was so difficult, but now with UK they are becoming like flexible. And also you need to understand nursing in different countries. How many years is nursing in Canada? How do I become a nurse? And how many years is it in UK and the US? And where exactly do they make more money? And what is important to you? So there's a person that I used to follow on YouTube. I can't remember his name now. He's a doctor and he's worked in the UK and Canada. So that kind of person,
public health is good as well.
That kind of person explains to you the difference. So nursing, yes, public health is changing as well. I mean, with coronavirus and all, attention to public health issues, global health,
financial crimes as well,
cyber security, and I mean STEM. I can't even talk that enough, but we can't all be business analytics. We can't all be numbers
analytics.
Or yeah, so business analytics, and I think that you should also do research on.
Don't do things because hey God. Don't go and do see now somebody wants to switch to nursing. I'm not saying that you can't switch,
With nursing,
but think very well. Don't
let me just say that
big
to apply for nursing,
very hard hope.
you need at least 1 year experience working in an hospital if you're applying for Nigeria at least. So I don't know if maybe after your degree you've been doing something in nursing and you can get maybe the certification, your reference is on point. Yes, definitely. So I can't say no if you've had experience. So right now with nursing, they're allowing people to change their
I
course.
know business analytics, I know financial crimes,
Data science.
I know nursing, I think public health.
I have public and yeah, all these international development people. I think that's in for it. Yeah. So check for climate change. Check for water.
Can someone with a public health background switch to nursing? It depends on your passion.
Yes. But if you don't have the experience with nursing, it's very difficult applying. So you're practically going to be starting again if you've done 4 years. But what will help you is you must have 1 year experience.
You're sure you will get work, but
yeah, you're sure you will get work when you finish, but is that what you want to do? Public health and nursing is not the same.
Not the same, more.
So, but you can. I mean, once you have the experience and it is verifiable, you have your reference. The hospital is maybe you can check that out. You can. So nursing is even very much available right now. So
especially because of the pandemic, they need people. Yeah. So do you guys have any final? Working in a public health NGO can qualify you for a nursing degree.
Nope.
I'm not sure about that though. I think all these things is best you research. What exactly did they write on the school's admission requirements? Because me, I don't really know.
Yes, entry requirements are very, very important.
But I know
and the funny thing is some of the entry requirements, they are not even listed. Like this psychology I was telling you about, until we applied, then they said, oh, I can tell you for sure that if you don't have a first degree in psychology, you will not be. And it's just something that changes. And that's the thing, like what I'm saying now, some of the things might change by, let's say, in 2 months, because the government has just, like psychology didn't used to be that hard. Now everybody wants to study clinical psychology because the opportunities are endless now. And the focus is on mental health and all that. But you have to know that they need to regulate it, because you can't do that kind of course. Psychology is something that is you can't do that kind of course because it pays. You're going to be working with people's minds and so many things that you have to be passionate about that job to do it. And because now it's almost like you are inducted into the body. They're not going to let
like medical. I'm sure people with medical degrees wouldn't be able to switch since it's related
to psychology.
Yeah.
Oh no, you.
I think so.
Well, that's the thing. Like I think that's related. It depends on the school. Right now, it depends on the school. The school. I mean, if you've done something that is very much related, maybe it's a medicine degree that has to do with maybe brain, and you're now trying to do something in maybe cognitive psychology or something, definitely that will work. Or maybe if I've done early childhood education, for example, and I work with children and I want to do development psychology, I would have to convince the school and I have experience of working, then yes, that would be very. But this is not to say that some schools are not taking psychology. It depends on where you're. I still know some universities that if you apply right now for psychology, you'll probably get it. Yeah. But you have to look at top schools if you want top schools. The top 20 right now or the top 30, they are changing how they employ people and trying to pay attention more. So it depends. There are some schools that even if you don't have that experience, they will probably
there are schools that give you admission in 24 hours.
Yeah, but right now I don't know.
Because of I think things are changing actually.
Things are changing. I mean, COVID I have lots of applications now that I just hope that they don't eat me up, because, but at the same time, there is really nothing that I can do. I email the school sometimes. I feel like when they are responding to me, they are just like, is there another reason why you want us to give this person an admission? So there's also that being careful when, and the most, I think the schools that are more expensive now, they will give you admission really quickly, because lots of people are not really picking those. It's quite, I mean, the exchange rate is crazy. We are talking 670, 677. It's a lot of money that people are considering, and those schools that are cheaper are getting their attention. University of All, for example, I can't tell the number of applications that they have, because they charge the same thing. They charge about 9,000, sometimes 7,500 for a year. Lots of people are applying. Or if I'm giving you 100% scholarship now, and I know that it's easy to get, lots of people are applying. But schools that their tuition is like 21,000, you know, you have to get that admission in 24 hours, because it's not, except it's like a tough one, they need to do lots of work, of course. So things are changing, and we need to give, right now, you need to submit your application early. You can't do it last minute, because they are taking, some schools take 8 weeks. I go to school reply and say 8 weeks. It might take 8 weeks for them to respond to you, because they are short staffed and they are working from home. I mean, things are just changing. So yeah, it is what it is.
Final questions, guys. Anyways, while they are figuring their questions, do you have any final word for anybody here who wants to get a tuition fee waiver or funding, or wants to travel abroad, or wants to get scholarship, or is in the application process, or the person has been rejected? Any word of encouragement? What would you say to anybody right now?
If you have been rejected, we're in the same boat. I applied to 16. That 16 is like what I know for sure. It's that number that sticks to your head. I'm very sure I applied to more. And you know, the thing is, you're just seeing rejection. And at some point, it's almost like you're expecting them to come. But at the time that I was getting that rejection, one thing I realized it, I wasn't best suited for this scholarship. Like, I'm even embarrassed sometimes when I look like, like, what were you expect? I had no experience. What was I highlighting? What was I doing? I wish that I had someone to say, just take maybe a year or two and groom yourself, and then see yourself blossom in those, you know, these things. So rejection really doesn't mean that, oh, you're not good enough. It's probably telling you that you need more work. Maybe it's not the right time. Like, why are you applying now? Maybe, for example, you've done engineering, so now you are now applying for nursing, and you think that because you have maybe 5 months experience of working in your dad's hospital, that qualifies, and you're getting rejected. Maybe you need a bit more time to get enough experience to then apply. So rejection doesn't mean that you're not. But let's say also you have so much experience and you're not getting it. Try another country. There are tuition-free countries, and there are some of us that just want to live because I want to live in Nigeria. So you might like Germany. I do lots of research on countries. Do I like this country from what I've seen? So there's Germany, there's Norway, there's Poland that people are going to a lot now. There's Sweden, if their way of life, you know, matches yours. There's just Austria, Czech Republic. It's countless.
And with Australia.
Yes, I mean Cyprus, if that's your choice. So there are other countries that are coming up now, like Norway has free education and it's looking really good. Poland is, you know, quite affordable, and their post-study work visa is not so bad as well. Like, they're just, if you want to, if your goal is, yes, I just want to live in it, but we have countries that we want. So I might say, I'm a UK person, I don't want to go anywhere, or I just like the US. There are some people that no matter what you tell them about UK, they would never consider it. And there are people that no matter what you say about the US, for me, I'm not a US person.
I'm a UK. I had a friend actually that tried Canada, US, try. You know what's crazy? She even had the funding, and she tried. She didn't get it until she tried UK, and now is UK not working? I just feel like sometimes maybe you're supposed to be in a particular place. Do you get?
Yeah, like, I mean, I got, when I was applying for UK, it was at the time that UK was giving 4 months. and I was an IELTS tutor and an higher education advisor. So imagine how my students treat me when I'm in class and they know that this my tutor is going to the UK. Every time is always, I can't believe you are going to the UK. I can't believe you're going to the UK. And it was so depressing. At some point, I literally don't bring it up in my class anymore, because I just felt like everyone wanted me to say I was going to the US or I was going to Canada. And I have people who are still here in Nigeria trying to then do the masters, and it's not working. So if your goal is maybe at the end to do it, why not do your master now that you're still young? Then use that to apply for your Canadian Express entry. Just so there's Canadian Express entry, and that's for people who are looking for post-study work.
I want to respond to. I think Leonard wants to study something in human-computer interaction. I know somebody that is currently on a Chivling scholarship, like studying human-computer interaction at the University of Birmingham, and from conversations we had, it does seem that lots of people are getting.
And what's the minimum finance budget to study out of? When I get questions like this, I just think it's a very tricky one. To be honest. Let's be honest. So let's say that you're not like nobody, like we are not putting scholarship now. We're not putting scholarships. We're talking 5 million. I'm like, we're not talking scholarship now. Let's say I'm consulting with you and you're saying you want to study abroad. Your minimum budget, we're talking 5 million. I'm not kidding. I'll tell you, sorry. The reason why I want to touch on this is because I feel like sometimes as well, agents or consultants create this picture like it's very possible and everything. You need to get the picture. If you have the deposit and all, you have visa application to do. Your visa application, you're going to pay for tuberculosis test. You're going to your bank statement. You have to show your bank statements. You have to show that you have the finances for living expenses. It's a lot of money. And after that, you need to. Right now, you have to do COVID test here, do COVID test there, quarantine for maybe 2 weeks or 5 days. Let's not. It's lots of money that requires planning. So I would say that's the minimum for now. So that minimum has like, okay, your budget, your minimum budget that the school required to pay to get your CAS. That's for UK or any other one depending on what they use. And then your visa application, you pay health search for UK, for example. So also like your health insurance. So that's if you're not funding. If nobody is funding you, of course. But when we put in funding, it then changes. So, but for you, human computer interaction, I think UK would have, it might not be exactly the same thing. So just look for the courses, check each of their course list and then check what. So it might be something else, but it will probably mean the same thing as well.
Paul says the only big issue with the UK is the retention thing, getting a job and being able to retain. Things have changed now. They're post-study now. I think the person might be talking about the past.
But it's the truth.
Now there's post-study.
It's the truth. With UK has that, and I'm not even going to lie.
But there are many opportunities that my school has been reaching out to me on that I have not, obviously because I'm of scholarship, I can't apply. But there's startup visa. There's work visa, there's talent.
Let's be honest, it's not so easy.
It's not everybody that can get.
When you start to look at those requirements for those visas, that's when you know. Because for me, for this event, I mean, if I'm trying to sell you some UK, I can say this thing, but this is what I say. If I'm going for my master's, honestly, if I'm going for my master's for UK, I'm probably going because 1 year I'm done, 1 year I did, and then I'm moving somewhere else. But with UK now, there's 2 years. So pretty much I'm getting 3 years. If in the next 1 year, I can't get a job to retain me, and I've tried, I am definitely using that 3rd year to look for other countries that can take me. So am I applying for Canadian Express entry? Am I going to use that to go to New Zealand? Will I be moving somewhere else? There are opportunities that is not like studying in UK is not all it's not all that. It's not all that there is. It's not the end. If it's not UK, like it has to be UK. No, but there are opportunities. I have a friend who went to Ireland. Ireland is like getting a job in tech, and I mean he did political science and he got a job to sponsor him. So there are success stories as much as yes, UK, but let me tell you, it's as competitive anyway. But Canada, obviously, Canada has a clear pathway. UK is not so clear because you need a work to, or you're applying for stuff. So I understand you. For people that ask, it makes sense for you to think about your post-study work visa. So that's why, and some people, they just want to get their masters and, do that 2 years expense and come back to Nigeria as well. So it depends on what your plans are. But I'm not here to say, it has to be UK. Remember, whether US, UK, just make sure that you've done your research. You've done your research. And sometimes UK is like that means to an end. Your end might be Canada, but UK just gets you there faster. I mean, if you look at Canadian study permits, ask anyone. It's not joke. It's not a joke. It's not beans. It takes like so much from you. So it might get you there faster. That's just it.
Okay. This has been really, 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 really insightful. I think I've run out of all the questions I have here. So there's another question for you.
What about sustainability after studies, UK or US? Like I earlier mentioned, I'm not a US person, but I'll say that yes, the US is larger. I mean, think about it: geographical, land space, the population as well. For US, when it comes to like health and stuff, there are more opportunities in those sectors. But in UK, so because I'm not the type of person that says, UK, US. I just believe that the opportunities anywhere, as much as there are challenges, there are challenges in the UK. I would tell you for a fact. When I was coming back, I didn't want to. I was in between coming back and not, so I looked for opportunities, but I didn't really get any. But it wasn't like really a bad choice for me. But there are challenges. Even in Canada, I have people who are trying to get jobs. Is isolating. They're depressed and all that. In the US as well, with the changing government, anything can be better. It can be, and also with some situations such as racial attacks and stuff. So I'll say sustainability definitely afterwards. It's your choice. You have to do your research. I'm not that kind of person that says, it is UK. It's not UK. It's not US. It's not Canada. It's your decision. And wherever you're planning to study, you need to be prepared to do the work. You can't get there for your masters and just, even if your parents have. So let's say you are getting funded by your family and they told you, you don't need to work and everything. Get the experience. When I was working 20 hours per week, I was volunteering. I was working at a pizza company, but I was volunteering, making sure that I pack as much experience as possible. That when I start applying for job, whether in Nigeria or back in the UK, it will be worth it. So don't go without having a plan. Make sure you go with everything that this country, I'm going to stay behind and I'll find the opportunity and I'm not going to relent. Okay, so thanks for reply. The funded mentioned the last email is at UK fee rates. Is your fee status counted as for international students or UK? If you are counted as then the funding is also available to cover the tuition fees. You will need to find another financer for your living. Oh, this is great.
It's really good, actually.
This is really good because what you're saying is that this funding is at UK fee rates. If your fee status is counted as international students, or is your fee status counted as, if you are counted as an international student, the funding is only available to cover the tuition fees. Now, I would say that you need to clarify something from whoever sent you. Just say that, is this the UK tuition fee? So if it's saying that it's covering the UK tuition fees, so maybe if the UK tuition fee is 7,500 and your own fees as an international student is 4,000, you need to clarify, would they be covering the UK tuition fee to 7,500 out of 14,000, or will they be covering all of your international fees? But I think this is great. It's a start.
Like, that's really good.
So I think that that's the only thing you need to clear out. So would you be covering my UK tuition fee out of my, or would it be my international fee is sorted? And trust me, you're going to reply. But I think this is a good one.
I think it's really good, actually.
Well, congratulations in advance.
I think you should just you should be able to.
So I'm hoping that they say that it's for your international student fees, and all you have to work on is
awesome.
So if you want to talk about tuition fees, living expenses, what should you expect? I'll say accommodation, internet, food, you know, and all that. Yeah, so pretty much.
Accommodation, internet, food. Try and be close to school so you don't spend money on transport. Also, direct
PhD. Wow, this is really good. So they were talking like 3 years. Yeah. This is really good.
Irrespective.
Scholarship.
Really good. Honestly, I feel like you shouldn't let it pass you by. That's a huge start. Like
so this is Oladipo. But I mean this
UK though. What country is it?
I think you said UK.
Okay. I feel like working in the UK is very, very doable, especially with your PhD. You even have more time.
Yeah.
You don't even have classes. So you can even
just make sure you're like also close to people. I think one of the mistakes I made was doing my masters. I wanted to do my masters, and I mean my course was that one that very argumentative, you are there fighting for Nigeria and Africa because once this year as an African, and you don't get to like really know people. Because I mean, for me, I was always pissed by some of the things that I was being taught. So I would say that definitely you should connect with other PhD students who can be maybe home students, and your lecturers, they are your gold.
Yeah,
they know so much. They have for other grants that you don't know about. They are probably working on your projects that you're interested in, that they can just say, oh, what do you think about this? I'm going for the research in Papua New Guinea. Do you want to join me? There's a funding for blah, blah, blah. And yeah, so I think that the opportunities are there. So UK, US, Canada, do your research. YouTube helps you a lot. Even I myself, every day, because things keep changing. I'm not even like a very big fan of Canada, and that is because you pay tax on, you pay ridiculous income tax as well, and goods tax or something. Like when you buy clothes, it's not the same, and it's too big, not so much people. I had problem when I was studying in the east of England because I didn't see lots of blacks. So I know that with Canada, that is big, and it's probably going to be something like that as well. But it's still something that I'm willing to explore, because sometimes if you don't try, you don't know if you even like it anyway.
True.
If you don't try, you don't know if you like it. You don't even know if you find it. People have different experiences, so make sure that you don't leave. You don't lose a scholarship because it's US and I don't like US. True. Or because it's UK, I don't like UK. You know, take it. It's probably the best that you have now, and there you'll find other opportunities that might even take you to the UK or to Canada. Yeah.
All right. Could ask them about graduate assistantship opportunities as well. You could let them know if you could work, because it would be nice if you even work is school related, because it's a PhD, so that should be combinable. Any final questions? I think we have come to the end of our wonderful presentation. It's been really beautiful. It's been nice. It's been lovely. Like, I heard so much from you, Anytime, and so we've all learned a lot. And thank you guys for attending this. You guys have been really good sports. And my own final word for you people, like she said, I just feel like there's a time for everything. Put
Mm-hmm.
in the work at every time that you're in, and irrespective of the results, know that it's a part of your journey and it's leading you to where you're supposed to be at the right time. Keep trying, keep pushing, and obviously I feel like you get to exactly where you want to be. All right, guys, thank you
Thank
so
you very much.
much.